All right, we're diving into something pretty amazing today, the world of electrosurgery. This is the incredible tech that lets surgeons cut and seal human tissue with absolute precision, and often without spilling a single drop of blood. So, how on earth does that actually work? I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Using pure electricity to perform surgery. But the science behind it is actually so elegant, and it all boils down to one fundamental principle. Now, the first thing you need to know is this isn't about, zapping the patient. It's way, way smarter than that. Electrosurgery uses a really high-frequency current to create intense, focused heat right at the tip of the surgeon's tool. And it's that heat that does all the work, either vaporizing cells for a perfectly clean cut or sealing up blood vessels in a process they call coagulation. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. It turns out there isn't just one way to do this. Surgeons have two fundamentally different approaches for handling this electrical current, and they're known as monopolar and bipolar. Let's break them down. So first up, we've got monopolar electrosurgery. You can totally think of this one as the powerhouse of the operating room. This is the go-to method for the bigger jobs where you really need power and speed. Probably the best way to get your head around this is to picture a controlled lightning strike. Seriously. The current flows from the tip of the surgical tool, but to complete its circuit, it has to take this long journey all the way through the patient's body to a special grounding pad. You can see that whole journey right here. The current leaves the generator, zips through the active tool, passes through the patient's tissue to do its work, and then it exits through that return electrode, the grounding pad. It's this long, expansive path that gives monopolar its broad, powerful effect. Okay, that's great for big jobs. But what if you're operating right next to the brain, or a super delicate nerve? You definitely don't want a lightning strike traveling through that. Well, that's where the second approach comes in, the bipolar loop, the precision artist. So forget the whole lightning strike analogy. This is completely different. Think of this more like a pair of electric tweezers. The current is totally self-contained. It flows out of one tip of the instrument, passes through only the tiny bit of tissue pinched between the tips, and immediately zips back to the other tip. That's it. The rest of the body isn't even part of the conversation. I mean, just look at how much simpler this path is. The current literally just flows out of one tip and immediately returns to the other, only passing through the tissue held right between them. It's a tiny, perfect closed loop, and that's what gives the surgeon such an incredible level of fine-tuned control. So we have our two contenders, one built for power, the other for precision. Now let's really put them head-to-head and see how those different circuits actually translate into real-world capabilities in the OR. So if you look at the key differences, you can really see how it all plays out. Bipolar's confined path means it doesn't need a return pad, which gives it super high precision with minimal tissue spread. Monopolar, on the other hand, with its longer path, absolutely needs that grounding pad. But that's what allows it to have a significantly higher power output. And, of course, those technical differences lead to very clear advantages in the clinic. Bipolar is all about safety and precision, making it perfect for delicate structures where you can't afford any mistakes. Monopolar, though, is built for speed and power. It's a versatile workhorse for a huge range of procedures. So when does a surgeon reach for monopolar? Well, think broad strokes. In general surgery or orthopedics, where you need to cut through larger areas of tissue efficiently, its power and speed make it the absolute go-to tool. And bipolar, it shines where every single millimeter counts. In super delicate procedures like neurosurgery or eye surgery, you have to isolate the energy completely, and that's where bipolar's pinpoint accuracy and incredible safety profile are absolutely essential. So after this whole showdown, which one is better? Who wins? Is it the powerhouse or the artist? Well, the final verdict might actually surprise you. Really, the big takeaway here is this. It's not about finding a better technology. It's about choosing the right tool for the right procedure. The goal isn't to declare a winner, but to have a complete toolkit for every possible situation. At the end of the day, a modern surgeon needs both. The real power comes from being able to switch seamlessly from broad, efficient cuts to delicate, precise work. These two technologies don't compete, they actually complete the surgical toolkit. You know, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? We've turned something as fundamental as an electrical circuit into a life-saving surgical scalpel. What everyday technology that we totally take for granted today is going to become the next revolutionary tool inside the operating rooms of the future?